Let me now inquire the gentleman, does he have only one speaker remaining?
Mr. Speaker, we have one speaker remaining, so we would reserve it this time.
Then I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Maryland, the Majority Leader.
Majority Leader is recognized for 1 minute.
I thank the gentleman for yielding, and I want to say that in this time of economic crisis, as America is challenged, as economists tell us that we are facing the worst recession since the Great Depression, I want to say to Barney Frank, the chairman of the Financial Services Committee, nobody has worked harder over the last 12 months on trying with Secretary Paulson, Ben Bernanke, Chris Dodd, Spencer Baucus, others in the Senate and the House to try to address this issue in a responsible, effective way. There's nobody in this body, Republican or Democrat, who wants to see this economy go down further. There's nobody in this body, Republican or Democrat, who wants to see people losing jobs. There's nobody in this body who wants to see the 401k plans of our senior citizens who are relying on those plans for their retirement to have it eroded by further reduction in its value. Lyndon Johnson once said, "It's not difficult to do the right thing. It's difficult to know what the right thing is." And that is, of course, what this debate is about. What is the right thing? I think it would be a fair statement that there will be really nobody who votes on this bill who would say this is absolutely right or this is absolutely wrong. There will be many of us who will vote, however, in a belief that this is a further effort to try to staunch the extraordinarily rapid fall that this economy has seen over the last 12 months. This bill is designed to give the automakers the time and space they need to become competitive, job-creating industry once again. Why? Because we need them. We need their industrial capacity. We need them, frankly, psychologically. And we need them in terms of the employment they give, the profits they make, and the quality of product they provide. It is designed, this bill, to do so while protecting taxpayer dollars. Does it do so? Absolutely. No, it does not. But it has made very substantial efforts to put us in the best position possible. Reconciling the goals of saving these companies for the welfare of our country and protecting our taxpayers has taken long negotiations and compromise on both sides. But I'm convinced that we've come to a sound solution. These rescue loans are necessary, not to reward bad decision-making in Detroit, but to protect 3 million American jobs, 3 million livelihoods, 3 million families who depend on the automakers. Not only their direct employees, but the workers at their suppliers, the small businesses, as the gentleman from Texas referenced, that serve those workers and entire communities. Are we really willing to put those workers at risk in this deep recession? 533,000 jobs lost last year, or this year, last month, 533,000 last month. Let me give you a comparison. During the last year of the last administration in 2000, we gained over 1.5 million jobs. This year, we've lost over 1.5 million jobs. That's a 3 million job turnaround in the 2 8-year interfacing periods. That's why people in America are hurting. We cannot take the risk of having 1 million month lost jobs. We're not willing to put those workers at risk in this deep recession. As John Judas put it recently in the New Republic, without public loans, and I quote, the industry will disappear the way the American television manufacturing industry disappeared. American workers and engineers will lose their ability to compete in a major durable goods industry. We cannot afford to have that happen. The gentleman from Texas said that we don't want that to happen. The gentleman from Massachusetts says we don't want that to happen. We're trying to figure out how we ensure the objective that both of those gentlemen believe is appropriate. That is the motive behind the $15 billion in emergency bridge loans for the car companies. But it's equally important to ensure that those loans lead to real reform, to ensure that we do not find ourselves right back in this same emergency in just a few months' time. All 435 agree that that is not an objective or a result we want to see. Congress has insisted that the automakers develop detailed plans for long-term viability. I'm pleased that we were able to work with the administration. It has been criticized, but the administration and the President, others in the administration with whom I've talked, believe that making sure that this industry has the ability to continue is critical to the welfare of this nation, not just to this industry, but of this nation. The viability plans that we are requiring were presented to Congress on December 2nd. We've examined them in detail. Now this bill will hold the automakers to their promises. They will be accountable to Congress and the administration as well as an administration-appointed CARSAR, who will oversee the efforts of the industry and its stakeholders to cut costs, restructure debt, and renegotiate labor contracts. They will not be running the car companies, as they should not be, but they will be overseeing and ensuring that the car companies carry out the promises that they have made to us and to the taxpayers. Just like any other lender, the federal government is insisting that the recipient of its loans be on a plausible path to profitability. If the automakers stick to their plans for viability, more assistance, of course, may be possible. But if the administration-appointed official finds that they have not made adequate progress on restructuring by March 31st, the loans will be called, and the automakers will be a step closer to bankruptcy. The automakers and most of the people with whom I've talked, economists, liberal, conservative economists, Republicans and Democrats, believe that bankruptcy is not the option. There are some who believe that's the option, but most I have talked to do not. This bill, of course, also includes safeguards for the taxpayers, as I said. It lets the American people profit if and when the value of the car companies recovers, as surely all of us hope it will. And it guarantees that taxpayer money will not fund lavish executive bonuses or golden parachutes. Mr. Speaker, if we act today, we can seize the chance for an American auto industry that is leaner, greener, and once more competitive. But ladies and gentlemen of this House, if we do nothing, we face the risk that sometime soon there'll be no American auto industry. That will not be good for our national security. It will not be good for our economic security. It will not be good for the psychology of our country. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge us, as I urged before, when we acted to try to free up credit, to prop up the financial industry so critical to the success of every industry, of every consumer, of every household, to act not as Democrats, not as Republicans. I believe this will be a bipartisan bill. There will be Republicans who vote for this bill and Democrats who will vote for this bill. The administration has worked hard with us. We've worked hard with them to come to agreement. There may be some items that are still not in agreement, but the overwhelming objective of this bill and the result of this bill is agreed to between the administration and ourselves. This bill has the power to protect innumerable American jobs, and its strong safeguards will ensure that we are authorizing anything but a bridge loan to nowhere. Mr. Speaker, I rise on behalf of this legislation, and in closing, again, thank Barney Frank, Spencer Baucus, and all the others in the House, on both sides, proponents and opponents, who have worked on this bill conscientiously to try to respond to a crisis that confronts our country and that the American public are asking us to help them solve, to make their lives better, to bring our country back. And I yield back the balance of my time.
Chair will receive a message.